So he said like this: I made a promise to you that you will have a child this year. He's telling the couple. And in heaven, there aroused a major accusation against me. How dare the Baal Shem Tov alter nature? These people, this man and wife, this couple, they are barren from birth. They cannot have children. He, the Baal Shem Tov, by his promise, is now troubling Hashem to change nature, the course of nature for these people, to change it, to alter it, that they can have children. Who does he think he is? So there was a tremendous accusation and prosecution in the heavenly court, the heavenly tribunal, against the Baal Shem Tov. And the evil side behind all this was not satisfied with anything less than forfeiting the Baal Shem Tov for his portion of the world to come. And he won. He was able to convince the heavenly court on this night of Pesach that the Baal Shem Tov's Olam Haba should be taken away from him. So his soul was present, watching at the court case in the heavenly tribunal while this was taking place. And at first he felt down and dejected. He lost his Olam Haba. But then he realized that all this is a trick to make him feel down. And there is never, ever, ever a scenario which is an excuse. I might as well just be depressed and sad because anyways everything is lost. There's never a situation like that, and he knew that. So he snapped out. How did he snap out? He said, very well, now I will serve Hashem with no ulterior motive. They've taken away from me my world to come. Great. Now I can serve Hashem with no ulterior motive of getting the world to come. Just sincere, pure serving God with no reward. And he was even extra happier to the extent that the accusation, whose whole purpose was to get the Baal Shem Tov to become down and depressed and dejected, seeing that he didn't accomplish anything, he asked the heavenly tribunal to forego, to reverse the charges, and to give back the Baal Shem Tov his world to come. So that's what happened. That's what transcribed in his Aliyat Neshama. That same night, there was an incident in the city of Istanbul that the new young emperor of the time, you can check in historical books who was the Sultan at that time, he was very anti-Semitic. Unlike his father, the previous Sultan, who was very loving and respecting to the Jews, this newer, younger one who replaced him, his predecessor, was very anti-Semitic, and he also had anti-Semitic advisors. And they advised the king, this emperor, the Sultan, to finally do away with all the Jews in the capital of Istanbul in one day, to get everyone killed. And they had a plot that early morning, since all the Jews are tired of being up all the night of Pesach, when everyone is still sleeping, to enter all the houses of the Jews and to slaughter everybody. So there was one advisor, one of the ministers in the government, who said to himself that this is not right, this is not proper, it's going to cause destruction for everybody, and I have to do something about this. They made amongst themselves an oath that any advisor who is caught revealing the secret about the plot to happen on the morning of Pesach, will be put to death. So he, on one hand, had this fear of death hanging over his head, but at the same time realizing that this is something very bad that's about to transcribe, and he couldn't sit down and do nothing about it. Secretly that night, he came to one of the houses of the leading rabbis of the time living in Istanbul and told him about the plan. And he said to him, you have to find a way to solve this problem without me getting in trouble, without them finding out who revealed the secret. I'm telling you what's happening. I leave it up to you. I trust you that you will find a plan how to help the Jewish people. But it cannot be traced to me. That's the condition. So the rabbi was terrified. He called the other rabbis and the leaders of the Jewish community. They got together. What to do to solve this problem, especially that we can't reveal who is the one behind that someone opened their mouth to reveal the secret. So they thought it over, and they said, we know that the previous Sultan's wife, the mother of the present emperor, the Sultan, she's always been loving and friendly to the Jewish people, and she's a very wise woman. We will tell her what is being transcribed and let us seek advice from her. So secretly they sent a delegation of messengers in the middle of the night, on the night of Pesach, to the house of the mother of the Sultan in Istanbul. And the guards would not hear of it to let Jewish people to come knocking in the middle of the night at the palace of the mother of the Sultan. What is this? And they were crying and begging, but this is a life and death situation. We need to speak immediately with the mother of the Sultan. And they said, go home, you can't bother her, she's sleeping. And they started making a lot of noise because they were crying, and it was really serious. And from the tears and the crying and the shouting, she woke up. She heard outside of the palace doors that there was noise. She came down. What's going on here? So then there was no choice. The guards obviously led the Jewish messengers in, and they told the mother what's happening. And they told them that we can't reveal at all. It can't be revealed that somebody opened their mouth and revealed the secret. She told the messengers of the Jewish community, stay here, I have an idea. She got dressed, and in other words, in formal clothing, and she set off to the palace of her son, the Sultan. And the mother of the Sultan comes in the middle of the night, they let her in. She came in, she said, wake up my son. They woke up the Sultan, and he saw his mother there, and he said, yes, mother, what's in the middle of the night, you're waking me up, is everything all right? She says, no, not everything is all right. Tell me, have you done something terrible? And he said, what do you mean? She said, well, I just had a terrible nightmare seeing your father, the deceased previous Sultan, telling me that by tomorrow morning, no one will be left of our lineage, of our pedigree, of our family. Everybody will be wiped out by the morning. I'm asking you, my son, have you done anything which is deserving us of this terrible death? And he began to think, and he was hiding, but then he opened up. He said, yes, there's something.